there, my name's Claire and this is Stitch Sew. Thank you so much for joining me today for another video. If this is your first time joining me, thank you so much for stopping by, and if you are a returning viewer or returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back again, and I do hope you like today's vlog. If you do so, please do give me a like, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. So what's today's video all about? So it's a bit of a different video for me. I'm going to be looking at two different Tilly and the Buttons patterns, the Tilly and the Buttons Lotta and the Tilly and the Buttons Bettine. So if that interests you, please stick around with me today. The first pattern that I wanted to talk to you about today was the Tilly and the Buttons Bettine Dress. Now this is one of Tilly's older makes, and therefore the size range isn't quite so inclusive as some of her newer patterns. This one goes from a Tilly and the Buttons 1 through to 8, which is the equivalent of a UK size 6 to 20. Now in terms of bust size measurements, that goes from a bust size 30 through to a bust size 44. That's in terms of measurements rather than finished garment measurements, so obviously there is a bit of additional ease there as well. Now the Tilly and the Buttons Bettine dress features a scoop neck, the option of putting little tabs and turned up bits on the sleeves, the option of pockets. It has like a blousey effect top part and a tulip style-esque style skirt to it. The Bettine dress was one of the first dresses that I ever sewed when I started making garments. And this is the dress that I made, and I will pop some pictures in of me wearing it. As you can see, it's got the scoop neck detail, it's got the cuff detail with the little tabs, it's got the cinched in waist with some elastic, and then I've also got the pocket details in there as well. There were a couple of alterations that I made to the pattern. I added an inch to the bodice. I also added another inch to the skirt, and the other thing that I did is, rather than having the tulip style sort of skirt that comes in slightly, I just from the sort of hips measurements, from the hips, I very slightly tapered it out into more of an A-line shape, not like a full A-line, but just a little bit more of an A-line shape rather than sort of scooping in or going straight down. And I just thought that that would suit my shape a little bit better. So I'm really pleased with this make. I think that it came out really well, particularly as it was one of my earlier makes. It does have a facing to it, but you also sort of top stitch that down so you don't get that kind of flapping out of the facing, which actually I really like. So yeah, all in all, this one is a really lovely make. I've only made one of the Bettine dress. That isn't a reflection on the pattern, it's just I think because of it being one of my earlier makes, I just got distracted by other patterns. So it's definitely one that I will be revisiting now that I've refound my love for it. Now the next pattern is the Lotta dress from Tilly and the Buttons. This is a dress that I have made several times now, and I think it's a really easy, simple dress to make. It is really good for beginners. There are no fiddly zips or buttons to put in, but I also think it's a really comfortable dress to wear, and it's something that can sort of take you through from winter into summer, depending on how you sort of style it or what fabrics you use, etc. So yeah, definitely a really good make. Now the great thing about the Lotta is that you can make it in either a woven or a jersey fabric. The woven has a neck facing and the jersey one has a neckband. So yeah, that's really great that the pattern can be used for both jersey and woven fabrics. Now I've made one jersey and 3 woven versions of the Lotta. Having thought about it, I'm surprised that I haven't gone back to make another jersey make. On the whole, I do make more jersey garments than I do woven. so I'm not sure why I've made more woven versions than I have of the jersey versions, but that's just the way it is gone on this particular garment. So in terms of sizing on the Lotta, it's a slightly larger size range than the Bettine, but not as wide ranging as some of the newer, very new patterns that Tilly's brought out, like the Pearl or the Lyra dress. So it goes from a Tilly and the Buttons 1 to 10, which is the equivalent of a UK size 6 to 24. So a little bit of a wider range there, but not as size inclusive as I would like to see. Now the first dress that I'm going to show you of the Lotta is a jersey make. Now this make, I think was the first Lotta that I sewed up. I've made it in a viscose jersey that I picked up a long time ago now from Rainbow Fabrics. I also did the longer sleeve version on it, so it has a grown on sleeve, and then you can add an additional kind of bracelet sleeve onto it. So this is my jersey version. I have lowered the neckline on this one. The Lotta has a higher neck on it, not like a really high neck, but you know, sort of this height to it. And on this particular jersey version, I decided that I was going to lower the neckline, just because I thought that I would feel more comfortable in it being a jersey make. So I just altered the pattern piece and obviously extended the neckband to be able to fit that. I have added an inch to the bodice and an inch to the skirt length. Now the skirt itself comes in two lengths. You can have a knee length or a midi length. All of my versions have been sort of knee length, but because of how tall I am, I'm about between 5'8" and 5'9", I do normally have to add a little bit of length to most patterns, just to make it obviously hit my knee rather than coming too far up my leg. So yeah, this one I will pop some pictures in of me wearing it. As I say, it's in a viscose jersey, it's got the elasticated waist. I've worn this one to death, to be honest with you. It's looking a little bit worse for wear now, but I still pop it on every now and again. This one really is like secret pyjamas. I often wear it with a pair of leggings or some tights. So this one is kind of a bit more of a wintry make for me, and I really like this one. My first woven version is this one here. This one is in a fabric that I picked up from Sew Me Sunshine. I believe this was a dead stock fabric, and what attracted to me was the print of it. I do feel like this particular fabric possibly might have been an old Jules fabric. Jules is a clothing shop in the UK. They probably sell in Europe, but I'm not sure they stretch as far as to the States. And I really like their clothes before I started making clothes myself, so it definitely drew my eye, this particular fabric. I really like it, and I've just made the same sort of adjustments as I said that I've made before. The inch to the bodice, inch to the skirt, and this one has obviously got the neck facing there, and it just obviously needs a little bit more of a press there after it's been in the wardrobe. But this one has been a really firm favourite last summer in my wardrobe, and certainly will be this summer too. I think my next version is the one that's hanging out behind me. This was in a again a viscose fabric. It was from Rainbow Fabrics Kilburn, and it's in this sort of lovely leaf design, quite an autumnal print, I guess. But I have made it kind of in a sort of a summery version of the short sleeves, but obviously you could layer a long sleeve top underneath and pair it with some tights and some boots, and it does look lovely for that sort of autumn time as well. Another lovely make that I'm really pleased with. My final version of the Lotta is this one, and this is just the epitome of summer, isn't it? This beautiful yellow fabric. Again, this was from Rainbow Fabrics Coleman last year, and I think I added 2 inches to this skirt, so this one is very slightly longer, and this one always makes me really happy when I wear it. Really bright, really sunny, and super comfy. Now my last version is the one that I'm wearing. Now this is a hack of the Bettine and the Lotta. So it's when the Lotta met Bettine, so I would say a Lottine or a better. No, that's naff. We'll go with a Lottine, I think. And so this one, I've combined some of the features of the Bettine with the Lotta. I compared the 2 bodice pieces of the Lotta and the Bettine, and they're almost identical, I would suggest. Definitely cut from the same sort of block, and but I really like the neckline of the Bettine, so I've used the Bettine neckline on the Lotta bodice. I have just gone for the simple sleeve. I haven't gone for the cuff or the tab detail on this particular one, but I do really like the Bettine neckline, and I like the fact that you top stitch the facing down as well. It's something that I'm considering that I might go back and do on my Lottas, actually, because I do find that sort of flapping out of the facing a bit irritating, if I'm quite honest with you. I think that other people have done used bias binding on the neckline, and that is certainly something that I might consider on any sort of future makes if I go with the Lotta neckline. Now the other thing that I have done is I've added the Bettine pockets to the Lotta. Ooh, controversial. No, not really. So what I've done is I used the Bettine pocket, and I just sort of overlaid it over the Lotta skirt, which is obviously a bigger, wider skirt, more swishy skirt than the Bettine, and created myself sort of a new pocket piece, and that I could also use that sort of template to cut out sort of a notch on the front piece of the Lotta sort of skirt that was going to become my Lottine skirt. And the other additions I made in my standard editions, an inch to the bodice, an inch to the skirt, and yeah, I'm really pleased with the outcome. Actually, it's a really lovely swishy spring summer make. I love the pockets on it. Obviously they don't sit quite as flat as they do on the Bettine, because it's a, you know, a more floaty, wider type skirt, but I think it's lovely, and I will put some pictures and some footage in of me in my Lottine. I really like my Lottine. Hopefully you do too. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Have you made a hack of these 2 patterns? I'd really like to see other people's versions, so do let me know, and then I can, and if you've got any pictures of them on Instagram, I can go across and have a look. That would be fantastic. So those are my versions of my Bettine, my Lotta and my Lottine for you today. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate everybody that stops by to watch my videos. And if you have, as I say, if you have liked today's video, please do click that like button. Do subscribe if you haven't already done so. But until my next video, take care, happy sewing. Bye bye.